Buffalo, New York police officer who was fired from her job more than a decade ago has just won a lawsuit to reinstate her pension. Carrie Horn says she was terminated after she intervened with a white colleague who tried to choke a black suspect back in 2006. Horn was fired 2 years later, just a few months before she was set to become eligible for her full pension. But just this week, a judge reversed the dismissal and reinstated Horn's pension. He said the city of Buffalo, quote, has recognized the error and has acknowledged the need to undo an injustice from the past. Horn recently spoke with our colleague Jerika Duncan about this decision and why she is still pushing for changes to how police officers operate.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Gnostic Informant. You are about to attain true gnosis. Can you hear me good? And
yes.
I think I gotta stop playing that video. I'm still playing that video like an idiot. All right. Close tab. All right. Sorry about that. First time I'm doing this in a different location. Little things are a little different. But I got Heathen Queen with us. What's going on, Heathen Queen?
What's up, y'all? Glad to be back.
Yes. Glad to have you. And NerdBoyD
Everybody knows I need no intro.
Yeah, no intro needed for NerdboyD. By the way, that intro clip that you just saw was his mom.
My mommy.
Tell him about that a little bit.
So everybody that knows me and knows my mom, you know the situation. Buffalo police officer Carrie Horn. She actually got fired for doing the right thing, stopping police brutality, stopping Eric Garner's situation from happening back in 2006.
Right.
And, she's finally been, what's the word?
Vindicated. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. So
good.
some of them big words sometimes catch me by surprise, but either way it go, she got everything that, she's getting everything that she had coming for years now.
Yeah.
Pension eligible, everything's approved. Our governor is probably the one good thing she did out of many, many terrible.
Yeah.
Don't get me on that though.
Yeah. So tell us the story is there was somebody, what was the person's name? Neil. His name is Neil, right?
Neil Mack.
Neil Mack,
that's like family. Neil has become like an extended member of our family through
what happened.
The almost tragic circumstances.
And he was getting arrested by another Buffalo police officer. Your mom was on the scene, and he was choking him out?
Yeah, he was like. So what happened? It was a call over some Neil Mack and his girlfriend at the time. They had a dispute over some mail. Cops came when my mom got on the scene. They were like bringing Neil Mack out the house. So when she noticed that Greg Kwiatkowski was choking Neil Mack, she intervened. Greg, you choking him, grabbed his arm, and he got up, punched her in the face.
Oh,
but
wow.
With that being said, she saved Neil Mack's life. She got fired for it, went through some shit about it, but at the end of the day, she won. We won.
Right. She saved his life.
Carrio's law is now, we're trying to get it statewide and federally. So the duty to intervene, Carrio's law will stop. That's protects any officer that steps in against police brutality. So all you motherfuckers out there that's screaming out Blue Lives Matter, pro-police and all that, this is actually a very pro-police law.
Sure, right.
People don't realize that. People think of my mom, they think she's anti-police, but this is actually a law that's pro-police and protects those that are actually about their job.
That's a good point, because now you're protected. You can save someone else's life and not worry about repercussions.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
But that's not why they're saying Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah, I know. Everything,
clear.
all lives matter. It's a play against Black Lives Matter, which me as a black man, we want our lives to matter too. And you think about shit like this, like, you bring up the Will Smith situation. I don't agree with what Will Smith did. I'm not commending his actions, but I'm not going to condemn him neither, because as a man, we protect our women. We hear black men and black women say it all the time, protect our black women. And then when he protected his wife, honestly, I still think that Jada need to just get over herself. And honestly, like I said, I don't agree with Will Smith with his actions, but I also don't agree with, the extent that they're going hard to try to like condemn this man for his actions when there's so many people out there that's worse. And I bring my mother into that because you have black officers around black men that didn't protect her when that shit happened with her. So for Will Smith, I give him kudos for, you know, standing up for your wife. It might have been a wrong time, definitely was a wrong time, wrong moment. And, you know, to attack
Sometimes
another
you fuck
black
around
man.
and sometimes you find out. Like,
Yeah.
So for him to attack another black man in that disrespectful manner, like getting
Yeah.
slapped is probably the most disrespectful thing you could do to me as a man.
Right.
Slapping me. But also, you know, it's so many ways I could go about this, because honestly, with Will Smith, you know, he laughed at the shit. Looked over at Jada. She wasn't none too happy. So it was just like one of them, fuck, here she go. If I don't do nothing, I'm gonna hear about it at home.
Right.
And
I
even
mean, maybe, but I feel like that puts a lot of imaginary onus on Jada, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
have you ever heard a joke and you kind of like, there's like a reactionary laugh, and then you sit back and think about it, and you're like, hold on a second.
And she low-key and she condemned Will Smith's actions, but yet when the slap happened, she actually laughed about it. So honestly, I feel like if anybody lost in this, it was Will Smith. Chris
Right.
Rock, his comedy show, his ticket sales are through the roof.
Yeah.
Sold out shows throughout the whole country. But, you know, for Will Smith, you know, you got a man who has had a clean reputation for almost 40 years. He's been
That's a fact.
and people, and I mean that, almost 40 years between his music career and his acting career. He's been in the game almost 40 years. And it's like,
I would be a hypocrite
moment.
if I would start to say anything, because I mean, look at my past 20 years and look at his past 20 years, and he probably had so much pressure built up in his head, and he just lost his cool
that one moment,
right?
One moment, and like they say,
Yeah.
30 seconds can change your life forever, and it has 10 years.
But like, so something that really bothers me about this situation, and I've tried not to have too many like hot takes, because I think as like a white person, it's not really my spot to have well, let me tell y'all what these black people should have done, right? No. But what I do think is that like the severity with which Will Smith is being punished is ludicrous, considering how many sexual abusers the Academy has had and likely still has, and they have not punished them at all. I mean, like Harvey Weinstein, for starters.
Bang.
And then we have, who is the God, I can't think of the other person's name.
I know
so
who you're
many.
talking about.
Woody
He actually
Allen?
fled
No.
the country to avoid prosecution.
Yeah, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
if we're gonna, all this does is tell me that that white people thought that Will Smith was one of the respectable black folks, and when he behaved in a way that they didn't like, they made an example out of him, all the while looking past all of these incredibly horrific crimes that were committed against women by white men. Like, again, I'm not saying what Will Smith should or should not have done. I think there are so many levels of nuance and complexity there, but like the way he's being punished is absolutely
ridiculous,
unfair.
Yeah. Robert Herring, thank you for the $2 super sticker. Oh, by the way, Robert Herring, I got to go inside and grab it. He sent me a buffalo from, I don't even know where. Robert Herring, if you're in the chat, say what it's from, where it was made. It is this. I got to go grab it. I'll grab it. I'm going to grab it in a second to show it off. But thanks for that. I'll grab it in a minute. And then the other one is Flamio, Will Smith versus Chris Rock. Chris Rock is
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, yeah. Who's K Fabi? What's that?
Fabi, he's a wrestling fan.
Oh, you know all about that.
And honestly, a part of me still thinks that it might have been kind of staged.
Whoo, that's a hot take right
there. And just the simple fact that Will Smith didn't necessarily slap him hard.
He really didn't.
And on top of that, Will Smith, like, they both kind of smiled at each other as it happened.
I don't know about that. Do you think so?
If you really look, I've seen pictures of it. If you look at the picture stills of the moment that he slapped Will, as soon as Will Smith turned around,
can you imagine if that was really the case? I don't know. I'm leaning towards
and
no.
It could be.
It's possible.
And look what
I still can't get over the people that were like, well, if that was Betty White, it could have killed her. Like, what the fuck are y'all on? Like, I don't like what
does that do with anything, right?
Exactly. Like, they're like, if he would have closed his fist and punched and he was 85 years old, like that could have been a death sentence. Like, are y'all okay? Like, what are you talking
Why would
about?
anybody hit Betty White? I mean, for one,
Dude, there have been so many
she's
weird
moving on.
takes on the internet. Like, it's like, you know, like, help, I'm white and I can't shut up. That's
You
the
know.
effect of like everybody has some take on it. And like I've seen way too many people that were like, it could have killed him if he was 85 years old and a woman and 5'2" and with cancer. Like,
one thing that was funny though. I enjoyed the memes, but one of the funniest things I seen was as soon as Will Smith hit him, it played the "Everybody Hates Chris."
They played that?
They played it on one video. I'm like, yo, the internet is so creative.
it's undefeated.
Within an hour of that happening, there was so many memes.
Yeah. The memes are just insane. I mean, anytime something like that ever happens, the memes are just
And then with Jada,
crazy.
It's actually a
Fire.
video that they released about a week ago where Jada was pretty much like antagonizing Will. He's telling her like, yo, stop filming me. You know, I don't need you filming me in my own
I
house.
saw that.
So
that seemed like it was
Jada clearly has some mental shit going on.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, when I was watching that, my first reaction was, why I should not be watching. I feel like I'm intruding on their privacy right now. I was like, I need to get out of this house right now. I feel like I was in their house. Like,
Yeah. And even Will Smith was like,
I'll see myself out.
yeah, I'm like,
And then-
I'm not saying shit.
And you notice every time some shit happened with Jada, it's always, oh, let this be a moment of healing. Bitch, you always want to heal. How about your husband heal?
Yeah.
Like,
Everybody
Will-
needs to go to therapy.
Right.
Yeah, I think Will need
Thank
more
you
than
for
anybody
coming to my
because
Theodore chat.
he snapped. He
Right.
slapped the shit out of him. And Chris Rock, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. And it was just like, he took it as a joke. Like,
Yeah.
he couldn't
No,
believe it happened.
How else is
the
he
way-
gonna take it?
The way
He
Chris
just
Rock
got
handled
bitch slapped.
the way Chris Rock handled the whole
I don't know.
situation, it was better than anybody can even imagine. Like, you can't even
yeah.
think of a way to do it better than he did.
Right.
He kept a smile on his
I'm
face.
sorry.
He didn't press charges. He didn't make a big deal out of it. He
But
just
everybody else did.
He just was like, all right, it's over with. Who happened? Who cares?
And everybody else did.
Everyone else wanted him to press charges and go crazy.
But you know something?
So
You better than me, because
He is better than
if Will Smith could have whooped my ass, nigga, I'm going for mine.
I bet you most people would try.
He could have beat the shit out of me on stage. You slap me, we fight. I don't care if I lose, but I'm gonna fuck you up before you fuck me up.
no, I think like God, I don't know. Like, listen, I'm not defending physically assaulting someone for like saying something mean, right? I can't do that. But at the same time, I think it's like weird that we are holding this person to this standard when like this happens all the fucking time. Like,
Yeah.
Are you telling me like nobody at a bar has ever said something rude to your girl and then like
You slap the shit out of him.
you want to fight them, right? Like, again, I'm not saying
I'm
it's
watching
right.
that.
I'm just saying that like it's so weird that we're holding this person to this like wild standard when like this is something that happens all the time. So like I don't know, whatever.
That's a fact. So should we get into the reason what the title of this video is what it is?
Oh, let's do
get into
it.
Because the title of this video is "Religion is not the problem." So we like to think that people who are in these religious, dogmatic, right-wing, conservative communities, that's where all the problems come from. And in a lot of ways, that's true, because there's a lot of that shit going on. A lot of these like super far right-wing, conservative, Christian, Baptists, Southern Baptists saying God hates fags and all those signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's a real thing that people should be opposing right now in this world. But the reason
Just
why I
because you
titled the
leave
video,
fundamentalism doesn't mean it leaves you.
right, exactly, and that's such a good point, because a lot of these people try to be critical of these same movements, and you think the reason why they're doing that is they must be, progressive. They must have the right mindset. They must be doing it because they want to see it. But sometimes these people are even worse. Sometimes we get people who are just
Very much.
Who could we be talking about?
Oh, you don't. What do you think of Dr. Bob?
I haven't even heard of him until about 10 minutes ago.
That's why I asked him that, because he's never even heard of him. He doesn't even know. He's not involved in the. I know him just from my neighborhood, but you're not involved in all the fucking online atheist agnostic community. I started doing.
And you know why? Like, okay, I'm born a Christian. I feel I'm more spiritual than religious, But if you're an atheist, be an atheist. If you're a Satanist, go ahead and be a
Right,
Satanist.
right.
I really don't give a shit because at the end of the day,
You're like most
you're
people.
you.
Well, that's like most people. Most people aren't atheists. Even if they are, they're not like, I'm an atheist. They're just like that. I don't even think about that stuff. Most people don't even. Some people say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Christian," but they're not really Christian. They don't go to church. They just were born that way, and they just.
I used to work with a Satanist, and the thing about it, I didn't judge them. They're just
Yeah.
like, show me what your shit about. Like I'm curious about what your shit is
Right.
about.
So you're open-minded to it, and that's
Yeah.
and that's like, I think that's normal. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, like I don't
you-
knock anybody.
But the reason why I said all that, because you have no idea about what we're talking about. You don't know who Dr. Bob is. He doesn't know who Pine Creek is. He doesn't even know about my channel. I don't even tell him about my channel. I have an old channel that you know about, Nickel City Chronicles. You were on that channel a lot.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't touched that channel over a year now, and I've been doing this new thing called Gnostic Informant, and it blew up kind of, sort of. Not that big, but my friend Derek's been helping. Yeah, it's getting there.
It's not small.
It's not small either. Yeah, but it's like it is what it is. But it's good. Yeah. So, but long story short, there's a community of us, and most of us are progressive minded, want to see a better world for people who are marginalized, people who are trans, people who are black, people who are whatever, Asian people, all types of people who are marginalized. We want to see a better world for those people, because we know with religion, with theocracy, with 10 centuries of the Pope manipulating countries and divide and conquer, and crusades and inquisitions and witch trials, we know what that led, and we know that we want the opposite of that.
Yeah.
If we're constantly othering people, it leads to a lot of violence.
Right.
So I think we want a more inclusive world, a more inclusive platform, a more inclusive whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So I want to get you on the same page as us. I want to play a clip. It's a clip. It might be out of context a little bit, but anyone who wants to watch the full thing, just go to Pine Creek's channel. I'm skipping ahead to where he talks about what we should do about. Just let me play the clip. We'll talk about it. We'll do that. Let's do that.
Yeah. He's a piece of shit.
I gave him a little background.
Yeah, you did. Yes.
Is that's where we are headed? A kind of dithering, like morality has gone decadent in the wrong direction. Now we are super moral in a way that will destroy us. We'll just say, well, maybe we can slap them on the wrist. And they won't.
Aren't like, I don't know. Like, I think a lot of these rioters, who I strongly disagree with, I don't think any rioting should be happening. But a lot of these are kids.
I don't care.
Who are just stupid.
They're bad. I mean, look what they've become. You really think you're going to be able to rehabilitate them? And it doesn't matter. They're on the battlefield fighting for the wrong side. We didn't ask them to go out there.
But I'm sure there's adults today. Some of them might be listening right now who look back when they were 18 and say, I did a lot of stupid things. But now they're great contributors to society.
It's a different scenario. I doubt if they were all rioters and arsonists. And if they were, they're just lucky they survived it by the skin of their teeth. But you can't approach that like, should I shoot that Nazi? This guy did. If he survives this, maybe he'll become a rocket scientist or something. You can't do that. You can't know that. They have put themselves in a deadly position. And you can't just be a wimp and let them out of it, because your civilization is at stake. Things will get much worse, and it'll be thanks to us limp-wristed, bleeding hearts.
But how do you? Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I do empathize with you.
All right, so.
But I think the death penalty
Here it
is way too sparsely enacted. I think that, for instance, that rioters should simply be shot down as they used to be. But we are now so soft and sentimental. We can't even accuse anybody of treason anymore. And that's
Treason.
another reason I
Donald Trump, bitch.
society. You have, like the rabbis said.
All right. So I think you get the point now. So so he's basically saying we're in a war against
With who?
With who? That's the question, I guess. Because here's the thing. If he was consistent about all this, if he was saying that anyone who's rioting should be shot, but he's not. He says the people at the Capitol on January 6th, they were doing the right thing. That's what he was asked about this. He said they were doing the right thing. He's only talking about Black Lives Matter.
Man, crackhead Santa better go sit his ass down somewhere.
That's what I said. I was like, he looks like someone tried to draw Santa from fucking memory.
Well,
now, here's the thing. Like, if you listen to the rest of that for the people that are like, he never said anything about race. This man is dog whistling left and fucking right. He's calling black people thugs. Full stop. That's like left and right. That's how he's referring.
You ever
to them.
notice how they never use that word thug? If, like, let's say there's in the newspaper, some white guy like gets into a police shooting and gets killed. Which happens. It happens all the time, actually. Some guy in Florida or something. Like, you always hear about that. The one, that story. You never hear that guy was a thug. You always hear that guy was a crazy lunatic, or he was deranged, or he had mental
mentally
problems.
Ill.
But if it's a black person, they're like that's a thug right there.
I got dreadlocks. I got shades on. I got earrings, nose ring. And in the eyes of some white people, I might look like a thug, but I'm far from a fucking thug. Like, you won't necessarily know anybody until you actually have a full fucking conversation with them.
Right.
Like, I have friends that, supported Trump or whatever, and I don't knock them for that shit. The thing is, if you're a good man or a good woman, I can fuck with you. But if you a piece of shit that, like, really just dog people and really have no respect for anybody and their views, like, yo, you's a piece of shit in my book. Like, I could.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No. But yeah, I was just saying, like. Oh, go ahead.
There's a lag, so I keep like apologies.
Oh, go ahead.
Continue.
Oh, you good? You go ahead. Oh, I just had like one more. I just had like one more thing. I was just saying, as long as you're a decent human being, I could fuck with you. If you're a piece of shit, I can't. Point blank.
All I was gonna say was that, like, I don't give a shit how Bob defines thug. I don't give a shit how some random person defines thug. The fact of the matter is that thug is a racially charged term in the United States.
Right.
Full stop, period. Whether or not that's how you are meaning it doesn't matter. That's how it's being communicated. And when an entire population of people is telling you, hey, that's a racially charged term, you need to listen to them. Yeah? You don't get to determine what is racist if you are a white person. You don't. Just like you don't get to determine what is misogynistic if you are a man. That's not how it works.
And you and I were talking about the T-jump debate that he had with, what was that guy's name? I can't remember.
Jake,
I forgot.
Nick?
Jake, I think it was. Or Nick. Okay. But yeah, that dude destroyed T-jump in that debate. They were debating on the crime rates and all this stuff. And T-jump's bringing up, the numbers are this. Therefore, blacks are more, whatever he was trying to say about because the crime rates say this, therefore this. And Nick or Jake, I can't remember the guy's name. I'm pissed that I forgot.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, because I really thought he did a good job. And he was like, dude, that's like saying if I took 30 out of if I made 20 out of 30 field goals in a basketball game, that I must be an amazing shooter until I find out that all 20 of those shots were from 1 foot away from the net.
Yeah.
There's always context to the stats. When you take away the context of the stats, then you don't know what the reason is. There's another reason why those stats are the way they are.
In the context of these stats, for real, is because how many crimes are not reported?
Well, I mean,
and how many crimes are actually put in the books in suburban neighborhoods?
That too, and then you got the biggest one of all is institutional racism.
Oh yeah,
I mean some areas are overly policed. I mean, there's more. You got drugs in neighborhoods, and there's a million reasons why. But the point is the context is not there when you just look at the numbers and say, 50% of the crimes are from this race A, therefore race A is horrible because they're the ones that did it. You're taking the context away completely by just looking at the numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
And then label us thugs. Like
Exactly.
fucking Dylan Roof wasn't labeled a fucking thug when he went and shot a church for black people up.
Sure wasn't.
Right. And that
Yeah.
nobody said thug. They said deranged, crazy. He must be off his meds. Something's wrong with him. Like it was never, oh, he must be in a gang. He must be a thug. It must be. It's just the way it's always interpreted when it's the same crime with two different types of people.
Yeah.
That's what I think is mind blowing to me.
Yeah. And
When someone tells me that they don't see thug as a racially charged term, it just tells me that they're not paying attention. They haven't read any history books, and they don't give a fuck about marginalized communities. Because if they did, they would hear what they're saying, but they don't. And so they continue to defend themselves because that's a key feature of whiteness, right? If you're white, you're good, and you have to defend yourself, and you have to defend that goodness, because otherwise, like, you're put in this, bad position. You're seen as bad, and you can't be that. So you self-victimize at the expense of marginalized communities. And, like, to be honest, I could give a shit who likes that. It's a fact.
Yeah, and like a lot of these people have they're in their lives, they don't experience what we're talking about. And I'm not saying you have to be black to experience it. I'm saying you could see it. Like, I'll give you my own example. When I went to prison, I watched a good kid like me and you, just a normal kid who was in jail for some non-violent shit, get his ass beat by a cop for talking back.
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing happened to that cop. I never saw that kid again. I don't know what happened to him after that. I don't know if he got sent to another. I don't know what happened. Never saw him ever again. But he was beaten bloody because he talked back to a fucking correctional officer. And I just remember being like, "Holy shit, this shit is real. Like, this is no joke. Like, it's just happening every single day."
And people don't understand. Like, with the black community, it's a lot of mental health that they don't want to. They quick to label us thugs, but they don't like try to understand why you got some black people that's the way they are. Some came from fucked up homes, just trauma on top of trauma, and it's like they don't want to give us that, but
right.
There's absolutely no discussion of how the US has built systems of oppression on the backs of enslaved people. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking
and then
of
we're going enslaved people, and then we're going to say, like, oh, everything's equal. Like, I don't know. Have you heard of redlining? Like, have you heard of all of these sort of systems that then continue to oppress people and continue to give white people the benefit simply because they're white? Like, this is the issue, right? We're not discussing why people choose to join gangs, or why people live in the projects, or why people do X, Y, or Z, right? We're just saying, like, oh, look, they're doing all of these things, and, most of them are black, so therefore it must just be like a key feature of being black. When in reality, it is the system and situation that white folks have built for people like them after kidnapping them and bringing them over here and then making them slaves.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of it is a slaves mentality, with the projects. Like, if you got somebody living in the projects and you got them living, in an apartment, shitty apartment at that, and the rent like $50, for most people, okay, cool. Shit, I ain't really got to do much with my life. You're giving them what they consider free money with the whole welfare system. It's like, nothing is fucking free in this world. Like, I got 3 kids. I pay child support for all 3 of my kids. But the crazy thing about that is I probably owe more to social services than I do to my kids for child support. And that's another thing. So it's creating this conflict between me and my kids' mothers because, we're not getting child support. But if they taking it out and they sending it to the kid, they sending it to social services and not the kids, that's kind of y'all problem for allowing yourselves to stay stuck in that system. And it's so many people of color like that. And it's like they don't necessarily want to get out because nobody's showing them the opportunity. And then when somebody show it to them, it's kind of like, oh, this motherfucker think he better than me or some shit.
I can't remember the president's name. I'm trying to find it. I think it was Buchanan, and he was like, they were talking about the 3/5 thing, where if you weren't white and the male, your vote was only worth 3/5 of a vote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something along the lines of, America is a white country, and while I'm president, it will remain a white country. regardless of whoever tries to. And it was like he was like completely
And that's how they getting us now.
off the cuff, like without any censor, just complete. And this is one of our presidents.
So Byron
This
Brown,
is not some guy who was a general in a war. This was one of the 55 presidents of the United States. It's not a lot of people.
so
He was saying that shit.
So you look at Byron Brown.
What about Brian Brown?
Byron Brown, he won the election pretty much off the white vote
Oh yeah, he did.
because it was so split. You got older black people that voted for him, and pretty much all of South Buffalo that voted for him. You got India Walton. People are scared of socialist Democrat. And it's just like, and I know India. I had India on my podcast.
Right.
She good people. She meant well. It was just kind of like he played politics to a fucking T with this election.
Yeah.
I can't knock him for that.
Right.
But this is the same man that was in office when everything happened with my mom.
Yeah.
A woman who went out hard for him and got him votes, who helped get him votes to get in office. So it's like,
No, I know what you're saying.
so yeah, so then with this,
We're all working in a fucked up system, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So then you got a lot of black people that want to see the police defunded. So when neither candidate says nothing about defunding the police, and then you start getting that white vote that's for the police, and you got a mayor that's for the police, and that's attacking that candidate for their lack of police support. Of course, you got black people stepping back, more white people voting. Now you got the black mayor with the white white mayor with the black face back in office. That's all I can say.
And then you get presidents like William McKinley, who say things like lynchings must not be tolerated, which is like lynchings are still, which tells you lynchings are still happening. First of all,
Oh, I mean, they only got
hold on. Second of all, he got killed.
criminalized.
He was killed. He was one of the presidents that were shot killed.
Right here.
So right here in Buffalo, by the way. But it's funny. One of the presidents that was assassinated happens to be one of the only ones that was like, we shouldn't lynch people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you like there's so many things you can look at, and it just tells you there's always a backstory. Like, why would a president say we shouldn't lynch people? Because people are lynching people. That's why they say that.
Hello?
You know what I mean? And it's like
You're not just like making like announcements for no reason.
Right. And then the fact that he got killed right after that. Like, what does that tell you? I don't know. It's just mind blowing.
That progressive thinkers don't last long.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then you were talking about redlining. People don't realize the economic shit that was going on even after the abolition of slavery.
Yes.
Like-
So I think you did too. We both studied economics in college, and I was fortunate enough to go to a very like liberal college, and so I took a lot of like feminist economics and like economics from a marginalized viewpoint and all of these things. And redlining is something that I think often gets overlooked. If anyone wants a good resource on it, a book called The Color of Law is excellent. But predatory mortgages being chased out of good neighborhoods, things like this, or when buying a home, owning a home is the number one way to build wealth in this country. Yeah. And so not only are you pushing them out of being able to build wealth, you're also pushing them into very specific areas. What does that sound like? Projects. Right. Like it, and this is how it happens, right? And so then you have people that have been victimized by incredibly predatory loans with absolutely no regulation by the government, and then pushed out of neighborhoods, also in debt. So they're pushed out of the place where they thought they were going to own a home. Now they're in more debt, and they're in an area that's poor. Like, what is going to happen in those areas?
Flamio says progressives want a better world for the marginalized people unless they vote the wrong way.
No.
But yeah, what were you saying?
So I was gonna say it like this, like, we're not taught about. We're not like, you got high schools, and actually Miles Carter told me this, like, he went to, I think, Amherst High School.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him about, I think this is what should be taught in schools, especially in high school, financial literacy, like shit that he told me. It was like it was taught to him in school, but me in Buffalo Public School, it wasn't taught. We was taught about shit that didn't even matter. Like, we're talking
financial
about
literacy was taught in high school.
Right.
He said in his high school was, but like
Bro,
me
not
going to a
I.
Buffalo public school, I never learned about financial literacy. Like we don't as black people, we don't really understand credit. Like there's not too many black people that understand credit. Like me, I'm 34 years old, just now really learning about credit within like the past like couple years.
Right.
Learning just how important it is to like building your portfolio up to own a home, own a car, all
Yeah.
kinds of get a loan. Like, and it's bullshit to me because this is shit like that that's keeping us down because we're not taught that shit.
And then wealth is hereditary.
Yeah.
It gets passed down from generation to generation, and then it gets put in the bank accounts with interest, and it gets to a point where you get a class of people who don't really have to do much, and they don't have to dig themselves out of any holes. If they get in trouble, they just pay themselves out of it. They just get a lawyer. Whereas people who are on the bottom, there's no. What I'm getting at is the equality of opportunity is not a thing right now.
Yeah.
People talk about equality. People criticize socialism and communism because they're like, oh, equality of equity or equality of equity is. I'm against that. But it's like those same people will say, well, we should have equality of opportunity. We should have a free and open market. Okay, we don't have that though.
No, nobody believes in a free and open market. That
Right.
is an absolute like disguise for I want the market to work in the way that favors me.
Right.
It's not free and
exactly
open.
what they're
If
saying.
it was free and open, shit would be wildly different. And anyone that's taken economics 101 would know that.
Right. Yeah, it's what's crazy is like the system is designed for people who have hereditary wealth, who have, who own stuff, they have property, they have assets. Whereas if you're living in the projects and you're trying to get out of there, you're in a public school system, it's almost impossible to get out of that, to make it to a point where there is actual equality of opportunity, which is literally a myth right now. Literally a myth.
Yeah.
Shit, like
It's a
I
myth.
really wish that somebody would take charge of Buffalo schools and really stress this shit, like really stress financial education.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
mean,
really
like-
feel like it's really important because
Yeah.
we don't, like I said, a lot of people don't know how important credit is. Like, I know too many people that would rather flash their shit than
Yeah.
just stay in the cut and just build their money up. Like I worked for the Sabres before. I watched Terry Pagula in the fucking back of the locker room with the Sabres, and he got this a whole dude that's worth what, $4 billion.
yeah, he's a billionaire.
Wearing fucking Skechers. Like,
Right.
while we up here trying to like
Skechers lifts.
stressing about the new Jays, all excited about that shit, but we ain't excited about building up shit. And it's just like when you got somebody that's got that mentality about building up, people ain't fucking with it because it's just like it with a lot of my people, it's like it's too much work, and I hate that mentality. And it's slowly becoming better because we slowly got people that actually are about their shit. We got people that's really working, like people like Miles Carter. Oh man,
Yeah, no, of course. There's definitely progress.
Even India Walton, like my mom, like
yeah, your mom.
You got
right.
people out here that's really
What
about
up, Mom?
this
Yeah.
So
By
I
the
mean,
way,
I live in Oakland. So like this idea of the very flashy lifestyle versus like building up and saving is incredibly prevalent. And I don't really speak on it because as a white woman, it's not really my place. But it is interesting to see, like, I guess it's interesting to see. Also, as someone who grew up incredibly poor, I think there's this tendency when you get money to feel like you then have to show everyone that you have it.
Yeah.
Like you have to show everyone that you have it, and you have to hold on incredibly tight to it, which is a very weird combination of things where you feel like you need to prove that you are worthy or valuable in some way because you have money now.
Yeah.
While also, holding on so tightly to your money that you can oftentimes become the oppressor.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting
I was working
dynamic.
for Amazon, and I had a boss like that. Like, you got so many employees, good employees too, but you don't put us in safe positions. Like you got vehicles that, Buffalo. If you ever experienced a Buffalo winter, this shit get crazy. And I had a boss that, didn't want to put the money into the business to help fix the vehicles up to keep us safe. And it's like, he had the money to do it.
That's Amazon too. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a parent company. It was a
right.
Amazon was a parent company, but what I mean. He had, he owns his own business.
Yeah,
but yet he's not putting the money into the proper channels to make sure his employees are safe.
Yeah.
So, you get shit like that, and it's like, yo.
By the way, Courageous brought up a good point, and I think this is a perfect. Did you see this message? The slaves were saved. I thought this would be perfect to bring up for the tweets that I was going to show.
What up, Pasta Mike? By the way,
where's he at?
He just popped in. He said, "What up, Doe?"
Yeah. What up, Doe?
Pasta Mike.
Also, Scott. That's all.
Sorry. So let's get into this. This is the guy right here.
Okay, but he actually is a Christian.
This is our guy. This is our guy.
Jared Fogle, bye.
Oh, Subway head looking ass.
So this is
$5 foot long type beat, huh, bitch?
This is Christian Resistance Podcast. He says if it was 1845, I would be rich. Probably right about that. I would have a beautiful farm with lots of cows and chickens. My slaves would eat well, and I would treat them right.
I'm dying.
I mean, if you would treat them right, shit, they want to be slaves, motherfucker.
Okay, he's also the same guy, just FYI, that said that some people, white people, bought slaves to treat them better because they were being treated so poorly. Bitch, no. The fuck they did.
Is that this one right here?
I don't even know if this is the tweet, but
Thomas Jefferson
raped his slaves, and
right. Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were honorable men. They led country through. I can't even see it. So text is too small. And then it says, "Hold on, I gotta read it on here because I can't see it."
Hold on. These great men, including James Madison, misspelled, and many others, were good men. Let's see. We're good men and we're not racist. They are moral examples, and we can learn from these great men. Yeah. So again, I'll say they raped their slaves and then disowned their children. Let me know. Hit me up.
But the craziest thing about this.
I'm a leftist, she/her nonsense activist.
Oh, is this in the chat?
They paid you $5 to say that? Oh my
God! They paid $5 to say it. What did they say?
Yeah.
Actually, we paid her 10.
Let's see. What is it?
And guess what? Ain't nobody gonna pick you anyway.
I miss the Neil that was searching for truth instead of choosing to become the leftist she/her nonsense activist. I miss that Neil too. No, rough. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. This is truth. I mean, this is me looking for truth. I don't know what else to tell you. This is what I believe. This is where I'm at.
It's like the X-Files. The truth is out there.
I don't usually do videos like this, but I felt it was necessary to, because I think people are confused about where I stand about this stuff. So I want to let it be known.
I will say this once. I can't let my reputation get too soft, but I am impressed with your willingness to take a strong stand. Because I know a lot of folks are like, "Oh my God, she's so leftist," and that's fine. I don't give a fuck what they say about me, but I do respect it when other people say yeah, this is what I believe, that everyone should be treated equally and we should reckon with our history.
And I noticed that the more educated people, on average, not everybody, there are some very educated people that are, on the right. But on average, I would say for the most part, the more educated people are, the more liberal they get, the more progressive they get.
Yeah.
I mean, if you understand economics, you know that there's some shit in our history that's really not good.
Dog, nobody understands economics. Right. Including our representatives in Congress, okay?
Yeah, I mean, history.
The motherfuckers was born in the 1800s. I bet they don't.
Mitch McConnell's skin run away from his face.
Motherfucker remind me of a fucking rooster.
Right?
Look at that.
I love you, Eminem.
What's this
I don't know
one?
who you are, but I love you too, bitch.
just to let everyone know, I hope I
God.
would not own a slave back then.
But
But
then
George
what was
Washington
that first
and Thomas-
tweet?
That's the first one?
No. But like the first one was like, if I lived in 1845, I would have chickens and cows and really happy slaves. And then he's like, just kidding, I wouldn't have any slaves, hopefully. Like, what?
You don't say no shit like that especially if you're a white person. Don't say that shit, bro.
But what it's saying is like, oh, a lot of people are like, a lot of people try to act like slavery wasn't that bad. They were worse off in their home country. We brought them to a better world. You hear people say that they make this argument all the time. It's like, that is crazy. Like that to tell somebody that what it was like, that a couple of scars in their back is not that bad. Oh, you took the mother away from the child. That's not that bad.
Back to the jail situation. You got a lot of these motherfuckers that feel like that really are for death penalty, are for people in fucking solitary confinement. But these are the same motherfuckers that was in their feelings when COVID first came and we had to stay in the house and shit like that. Y'all got Wi-Fi, food, internet, like y'all got TV, Netflix, Hulu, and yet y'all still mad. But yet y'all think somebody deserve solitary confinement, locked between four walls, 23 hours out the day, 24 hours, whatever. And y'all couldn't even stay in the house during the pandemic.
Yep.
Oh, I have rights.
Right.
My God.
I don't want to wear a mask. My rights. Bitch.
Well, no,
also,
solitary confinement's fucked up if you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
One.
And this
Y'all
is what I
need
tell
to shut
folks.
the fuck up and grow a fucking brain, you dumbass fucks.
He said what he said, and he took his glasses off to say it.
He always does that. He always do that shit.
For folks that don't know, like before COVID, I volunteered in my local prison. So like, I know the men that are in there, and I know them well. And I think that until you have done that, you need to shut the fuck up about who deserves to die.
Exactly.
Right.
A lot of them.
Stop.
And you worked with a lot of them, so a lot of them are really good people. They just got in a fucked up position.
They had terrible lives. They had no good options. And they picked this option of like a gang to try and have some semblance of family. And then because of that, they made a stupid ass decision. And it's not that they shouldn't be punished or shouldn't have consequences. Nobody is arguing that. But the argument is that like, they should have a sentence to serve. They have a penance. And especially if they're doing work within that sentence to heal, to become better people, if they're engaging in restorative justice, like all of these things matter.
Yeah.
And killing people, just killing people, doesn't bring your family member back. It doesn't ease the pain. It doesn't do anything, right? Like, I'm not saying that there are some people that can't be released back into the public. There certainly are those people. But our prison system is not set up to rehabilitate almost anyone.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's made for criminals to become better criminals. And it's like,
exactly.
With me, as a black man, if there's one thing I want for black people, I want us to be, because like, when they say a dangerous person is an educated black person, that shit is so fucking true, because we got a lot of smart people out here that's just in a lot of the wrong shit.
Yep.
And if, like, you hear about Black Wall Street was becoming too powerful when they burnt that shit down to the ground.
Yep.
Because it was a fucking threat.
Yep.
And you got so many black people out here that became threats.
But you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about other countries in like the Scandinavian countries, Norway, Sweden, over there? Their prison systems are like universities.
Yeah.
And their crime rates are super low, and people go there and they rehabilitate, they get a degree, they find a career, and they're back in society.
Yeah.
Over here, you go into prison, all right, which one am I going to join? The Bloods, the Latin Kings,
we have equated punishment with justice.
Yeah.
And it's not the case.
Well, yeah, our prisons are messed up.
Oh, yeah. And if y'all want something to read ever, Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson, it changed my life. And I recommend it to everyone that wants a better sort of viewpoint on how the prison system works. especially for people like me, right? Who I live in California, so we have a fairly progressive everything. Brian Stevenson is a civil rights attorney, a black civil rights attorney in Alabama, where when you're on death row, you don't get an attorney to do your appeals. You're expected to do your appeals on your own. And if you don't succeed, you die. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people on
That's
Alabama's death row are indigent. They can't even fucking read.
Wow.
So you're then saying these people that can't read should be able to then mount their own legal defense in order to avoid death in an already incredibly racist situation?
That's in the South too, where it's more prominent. Like,
Yeah.
Like one thing, I don't like. The thing is, and we are really starting to gain, black people in a lot of high places. But it's just like the thing I be hating is like you do get some in high places, but they use their power the wrong way. They get too complacent, and it's just like then they Byron Brown, for instance, like like I say, like the east side of Buffalo, black people put Byron Brown in office, and he just shit on everybody.
I mean, I think that the closer proximity that anybody gets to power, which in the United States means whiteness, the more likely you are to then try to maintain that position and acquiesce to whiteness. And that's not the fault of the person that's doing it. It's the way the system is designed.
Exactly. Like somebody told me one day, like the system is actually, when people say the system is broken, it was like the shit ain't broken. It's working exactly how it's meant to work.
Exactly. And that's why we have the 13th Amendment, which still allows slavery.
It's just called the prison system now.
I mean, our system is working exactly the way it was designed to work, because the way it was designed to work was to subjugate black people or people of color or any marginalized group while maintaining the power of white people.
Like, honestly, I believe in term limits. Like, I think, in Washington, we need some of these motherfuckers out of office. On both sides, Democrats, Republicans.
Yes.
All these motherfuckers really just, they need to sit it down and let some young blood in there, because you got people that's been in politics, whatever you want to call it, for 40, 50 plus years, and they making decisions for us. We
No, they're not making decisions for anyone. They're making decisions for themselves.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The sleep motherfucker is gonna be thinking, oh, they're making the right decision. Like, nah, they.
And what's crazy?
They know what's best for them.
What's crazy is how often you see shit like every day. You can go on YouTube and you can see shit like this.
Yeah.
Stop it! That's my girlfriend. Stop! Get off of him! Get off of him! You're on video. You are on video.
Look at him.
You're hurting him. Stop! You are hurting him. You're hurting me. You get off of him. You're on video.
Every single, like, literally, I'm not kidding. Like, every day there's a new video like that. Every day.
Yeah.
I'm not even exaggerating. Every day.
Wow. Imagine waking up every day and styling that bullshit ass widow's peak. Couldn't be me. Best of luck, though.
Yeah, it's true though. Like,
sorry.
But I'm kidding. If you try to make a compilation for like 2021, 2022, 2020, like you would have to make every video a second long to get a compilation under, and like it would be. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And like regardless of what happened for him to get in that situation, you can hear the person on the phone saying, "Get off of him! You're hurting him." He's saying, "Get off of me."
The response is
like,
unequal.
You could just tell this. I mean, like obviously shit happens. Like there's going to be altercations, but like once they get past that, it feels like it's like a lot of cops. They get past this there's like a line that they draw, like an imaginary line. And as soon as that line is crossed, they have to get into tough man mode and show that I'm in control here. I got to show that I'm in control here.
Yeah.
And as soon as they get in that mode, it's over with. There's no talking to that. There's no more talking to that person anymore. You know what I mean?
Seen it a lot, especially during the protests during the 2020 and all that good stuff. So, I've seen some of that shit firsthand. I've experienced some of that shit firsthand.
I used to see it all the time in the prisons. The correctional officers had to have control no matter what. And if they ever look like they just got beat by somebody in any way, they were gonna use force, no matter what. No matter what, they're gonna do something.
And you got something that look forward to it. Like I was working as a substitute, and it was a white kid. He said he wanted to be part of the SWAT team so he could throw ninja stars at people. and when he meant people, and this kid actually had a reputation for being racist.
Right. People that throw ninja stars are probably racist.
Yeah, and it was just like, and it was kind of like, and this kid was like 12, 13 years old.
Damn.
So it was like he young, and it's like hate is something that's taught. Like you're not born a hateful person. Yeah. So whatever going on at home with him, it's like it's really determining the man he gonna be when he get older.
Right.
I'm real big on respecting everything like that. Like, yo, my kids, I try to teach them to be as open-minded as possible, especially when it comes to other people. Like, just because somebody different from you don't mean you gotta, go against them and shit. But it's just like, that's the mentality with a lot of us.
I do want to say that if y'all are trying to quote MLK in the motherfucking chat, go read the letter from Birmingham jail about the white liberal and how dangerous that bitch is and get back to me. Because white folks love to quote MLK when it comes to like, I have a dream and we should all do things in love.
Oh, he was a Republican, don't you know?
Sure, fine, whatever. But like, the fact of the matter is that man was incredibly straightforward about the fact that the white liberal was the most dangerous person to the civil rights movement.
Matter of fact, I remember you showing me. I
showed you that, yeah.
And and I've seen a few times myself where you got a white person. Like, if I see a black cop, I will have a conversation with that black man or that black woman. If you white, don't tell me what the fuck to say. Don't tell me who the fuck to talk to. Because at the end of the day, y'all allies to our fucking movement. So don't sit up there and try to tell me who the fuck to talk to.
Right, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I wanted to slap the shit out that white lady for trying to tell this black man not to talk to this black officer.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to knock nobody for becoming a cop. Like, yo, people got families out here. People got kids. People trying to build lives. Do you?
We are living under a capitalist bullshit ass system.
Yeah. It's like what you do with that shit, what you do with that power that you got, that's going to determine the type of man you are, a woman. Because I know some people, like I know a woman that was like family that was a piece of shit cop. And she was a black woman. And you got...
The proximity to power is a very powerful thing.
So I will fear a person, like, put it like this. It's two type of people for the most part in this world. The people who do the shit for the power, the people who do the shit for the money.
Yep.
I will understand a person whose motives are for money versus power. I feel like the person that's for the power is the most dangerous person in existence, because money, that's your motivation. Maybe you got a house payment, maybe you got a sick relative, something like that, to where you're doing the money for. Power, ain't no type of money in the world that's that could buy you, because the power is what's driving you.
Yeah.
And that's a scary, scary person right there. And I've seen people like that.
There's so many.
Driven by the power.
Yeah, no, I was about to say something, but I forgot what it was.
Do you have a mod, Neil?
Yeah, I just made Courageous a mod just now.
Yes.
Who else should I make a mod? Where's Robert at? I think he left. But yeah, I just made Courageous a mod.
That's the producer of my show.
I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary.
That's what I was gonna say. Sit in these arguments and say this bullshit shows me that you have never studied history. Anyway, sorry.
No, continue. And this is exactly what I was about to say.
I'm a bitch.
So Dred Scott. So what's that one right wing university? PragerU. Video about Dred Scott and
keep about my motherfucking name out your mouth.
Frederick Douglass too. Frederick Douglass. So they quoted Frederick Douglass saying something about the Constitution, how great the Constitution is, which he did say, but it was out of context. The paragraph before that, he was talking about how in America there's nothing worse in the world that's what's happening in America right now. He was talking about how evil shit was with the slave owners and all the shit that was happening with the Civil War and all the racism. And then he says one line about this Constitution is great, but he was saying for people that it applies to, not for people who are.
Yeah, exactly.
So they took that one line out of context Yeah, PragerU took that one line out of context. Says, "Hey, look, Frederick Douglass loves the Constitution. He must have been like us. He must have been a Republican, something along those lines."
Yeah.
But it was like
such bullshit.
it's so disingenuous when you take something out of context like that and don't show the whole thing when you know he wouldn't. He was not intending to say it like that.
Robert Herring is
That's
back.
what PragerU does.
FYI.
People are gullible as fuck because people like, especially nowadays, like shit. I hate reading, so most people don't like reading, so
They
they're
won't
not
look it
gonna-
up.
They gonna take the one little quote and run with that shit.
Right. Exactly. That's what happens. They'll take it and run with it. So I don't know. And you see that PragerU does it all the time. PragerU made a video said that the United States is not a secular nation. We're a Christian nation. Our government should be Christian.
Yeah, have you read any history by any
There's
chance?
there's not even one time in the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, or Declaration of Independence that says the word Jesus in it once.
At best, they were deists.
Exactly.
At best.
At best. Yep.
But y'all can read Andrew Seidel's book because he writes it much better than I do. The Founding Myth, where he talks about the fact that like the people that wrote the Constitution were not these like evangelical Christians that we like to sort of imagine them as.
Right.
They were at best deists.
Yeah, especially the smart ones.
Oh, uh-huh.
Especially the ones
And I
that
mean,
wrote it.
even Thomas Jefferson, right? The Jefferson Bible, where he took out all of the miracles, effectively the like, I don't know. I don't want to say
He took out all the stuff and that he didn't like, all the miracles,
exactly,
and he took all the good
and
wisdom parts and put that, and that's the Jefferson Bible. That's his Bible.
What up, Andrew? Love you.
Robert Herring. There he is. Oh, yeah, Robert Herring. I'm going to make you a mod. Add moderator. So now I got 2 mods.
There you go.
Yeah.
But,
Sorry, I'm still like LOLing at the people in the chat that think their like perspective is, and really
funny,
it's.
I should open it up for someone who wants to come on and challenge.
Oof. Let me get another drink, but yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. How long have you been? Oh, it's been an hour. It's been a good hour. I mean, you want to touch on anything else?
I don't know. We touched on a lot. Let's say me.
What's your mom doing now?
My mom is still out here fighting a good fight.
Yeah,
I love it.
I follow her on Facebook, and she's out there protesting, she's doing her thing out there.
Yeah, carry on horn.
Now she's like an icon because she made a real impact, like something you can point to.
Like
yeah, like and I hate that it had to happen to George Floyd to bring that attention back to her.
Right.
But you know, for George Floyd's family, you know, George Floyd, you know, he's the reason why my mom got everything that she had coming to her, because it was like I hate that his life had to be sacrificed for her, but you know, it put her in that light, and it made people really start thinking like, yo, we had a cop this whole time that actually did the right thing.
Yeah, she prevented another George Floyd,
and it's several more. It's several more out here that don't get they do.
Yeah,
competing truths can exist, right? Like two realities can exist. There's a tension between wishing that like that person never had to die in order to shine light on this situation, and also being grateful that a light has been shown on this situation. And like, I think we can hold space for both of those things.
Yeah. I said it's unfortunate, but it's like if it didn't happen, you know, she'd still be struggling to get her shit together right now. And it's just like, you know, it's one of those unfortunate victories of sort, you know.
Right.
Sometimes you got to take a loss to get the victory.
Yeah. I just think the complexity and nuance of humanity is sometimes lost in these discussions where we make things very binary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Very.
So yeah, I gotta get you on these lives a little more often, man. You gotta.
Yeah. Agree, NerdboyD.
NerdboyD. Check out the NerdBoyz Podcast.
Yeah, you got a podcast. Is it just on Spotify?
Spotify. I know I only listen to it on Spotify, but it's definitely on. I think it's on iTunes.
Okay, so it's on the audio joints.
Yeah.
So you look up the NerdBoyz Podcast.
NerdBoyz Podcast.
Yeah.
NERD.
There you go.
BOYZ. NerdBoyz. We pretty much talk about a lot.
Everything. No, you guys
Sorry,
did
I
everything.
just need to say that someone in the chat said more white people are killed by police each year.
That
Bitch,
might
have
actually
you
be
heard of proportions, ho?
And here's
No, you haven't?
that's the thing we were talking about earlier. Is like
Yes.
you leave out the context when you look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, do y'all know how many white people exist in the USA versus black folks? And the
Right.
ratio at which they
It's
are
like
killed?
70 to 30.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
obviously the
don't?
numbers
Oh,
are gonna be
wait,
higher.
I studied stats.
It's like Buffalo itself could be like in the top 10, and our murder rate could be higher than Chicago's, but that's because we have a lesser population.
Right. No, there's years where Buffalo is like second in the country in like per capita.
Yeah.
Buffalo is pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like Detroit. It's like a mini Detroit.
Yeah.
But it's been getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like these people in the chat that are like, no, you're an idiot. And I'm like, really? Argue with fucking like Harvard statistics, bitch. Like, let me know how that goes for you.
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
There might be more white
best of
people that
luck.
get killed by police than black people. There might be. I'm
It
not going to
doesn't-
There
dispute
might
it.
Right,
be,
it
but
doesn't
the thing
change the fact
is that there's a larger proportion of white people in the U.S. So it's like how many folks per volume here are being killed by police, right? So we can
Right.
have 10,000 white people and have the same percentage of white folks being killed by police as black folks when there are 2,000 people in the United States, and the same percentage is there. Who's getting killed more frequently?
Right. Exactly. That's why I say it's all about the context.
Mhm.
Like, y'all need to take some math classes. It's rough out here. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. I just had to.
No, you're good. We're just chilling. We're just chilling.
Well, yeah, just chilling. She's sipping on that adult Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I
but I just
hope
like,
the
I need
audio's
that
been
shit.
good this whole time. I kind of just rigged a bunch of stuff together in the last minute. I hope it sounds all right, but it should be good.
Yeah.
No one said anything.
Bob would like to buy me another beverage. I paid for
Yeah,
that
let me just-
myself. Thank you so
Let me
much.
just send it through the computer screen.
All right.
That's fine. Just
I'll
subscribe to my
Venmo it.
channel.
I'll Venmo it.
We're going
No,
to Stone Cold
please,
Steve
please.
Austin and shit.
Yeah. Shit. I want to go to Oakland one of these days, though. On the West
Please
Coast. I've been to
do.
Seattle. I've never been to California, though.
When people tell me that I'm mean, I'm like, don't come through my town. You're going to have a fucking hard time. Like,
Actually,
Like,
shout
I'm
out to
not
my
mean.
man. My man Raven Hall. He's from Oakland. He's actually
Oh, for real?
he's been working for years on a documentary about my mom.
Really?
So yeah,
yeah.
he should be
I
in
love that.
town. He's supposed to be coming this month, but shout out to Raven. Shout out to my NerdBoyz, man, and another podcast that my boys just started. Finish Your Wrestling podcast.
Okay.
Strictly wrestling. I'm a huge wrestling nerd. It felt good watching WrestleMania, seeing Stone Cold actually, get his shit in. So
I didn't even watch. I have no idea what you're talking about.
yeah, WrestleMania 38 last
Stone
week.
Cold came back?
Stone Cold came back and actually had a match.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
He
it
did
was
his
just like
thing.
childhood all over again.
Wow, that was when I used to watch it back when he was around.
Yeah,
The Rock and all those guys.
exactly.
Anyways, I don't know. I think we touched on everything, right?
What's it
I
about?
think so.
What do you got going on? You got anything important? Any thing you want to
God.
promote?
I will be going on Profane Faiths podcast this weekend. I think after that, I have a stream upcoming with potentially Kill a Priest and Profane Faith, talking about decolonizing Christianity and sort of finding spirituality.
Nice.
It's not cemented yet, but that's the sort of plan. Other than that, not much.
We'll be on the lookout for that. Heathen Queen. Just type it in the YouTube search bar. Pops right up. There's no other Heathen Queens, I believe, besides you, right?
I don't know. I think it's only me.
I think you're the one and only.
The one and only, yeah.
You dirty heathen.
I know. I'm glad we're still friends after all of
I
this.
forgot to ask you. Does the people the pagan heathens, do they get mad at you for using that term?
So at first, people had like some feelings, but they've seemed to have gone away.
Yeah.
Where folks are just like, all right, that's fine. Like,
Right. Just whatever.
Yeah, there are a few people that are like, you're so narcissistic. You named yourself the queen. And I'm like, well, it wasn't me per se.
Right. It's not,
It was my followers.
entitled. Didn't someone else title you that?
Yeah, I would never title myself that. It was what my TikTok followers started calling me, and I was like, well,
Oh
okay.
shit! I gotta
Like
get
that's like what I'm named by, so I guess I'll just roll with it.
Are you on TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's on TikTok too.
Remember I was making our
Yeah, you were the intros on there. I gotta start getting on there. I gotta have you show me the ropes on there.
I haven't done one in like over a year, but
Sorry.
I haven't even started
we
yet.
were doing our shit last year. I was making like, promotional videos for it.
Yeah, they were working.
I'm NerdboyD on everything. I'm NerdboyD on Instagram. Got the NerdBoyz Instagram page. Shit. So TikTok,
I'm currently laughing at the person that says I'm unsubscribing because your interviews are absolutely awful.
Adolf Hitler. His name's Adolf Hitler. I couldn't be more proud that Adolf Hitler just unsubscribed from my channel.
We will certainly cry about this in the after show.
Why would you name yourself Adolf Hitler?
Hey.
Sorry. Like
he said interviews
who are you?
Plural. So if he doesn't like my shit, then why are you here to begin with?
Sorry.
Well, if they ain't hating, you ain't doing it right.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Like, sorry, I'm a public hater, so when people like try and hit me with that, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't care.
I might have gotten some listeners for my podcast.
No, call your fucking mom, bitch.
Fucking guy again.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Right. That's just the way it is.
You can't have an opinion. I don't want you listening to me.
Yeah, you can't have an opinion no matter what you say on anything without risking people not liking you. That's just the way it is. But
what was this? Can we ban this bitch? No, but we can ban you, ho.
Stack paper.
What up?
Me. Y'all haters. It's all right.
It's rough out here in these streets. And nobody cares about what you have to say.
I see Courageous is doing her thing on the mod thing. I see people getting timed out. I saw people getting timed out over there.
Dude, I love it when people are like, I fucking hate you. And I'm like, Kate, no one is inviting you on their channel, but go off, King.
Donald Trump Jr. just unsubscribed.
I will subscribe. I will make up his space.
Maybe because I'm black.
Probably. But all right. Like I always say, you have just attained true gnosis.